Gauteng accounts for well over a third of the country's GDP, with KwaZulu-Natal following a distant second with a contribution of around 16% of GDP. Another economically strategic province, the Western Cape, accounts for roughly 12% of gross domestic product. A lack of investment and stimulus in rural and peri-urban areas of the country has resulted in a major trek to major cities, particularly in Gauteng and the Western Cape.
You see in terms of earning patterns, salaries, the two provinces have higher levels of earning patterns than any other province. So generally, there is movement from rural provinces to urban provinces, mainly in the two, Gauteng and the Western Cape.
While Gauteng continues to be a magnet for opportunity seekers, continuing to experience population growth at lightning pace, other provinces are also seeing an uptick in population size.
We see a lot more growth in the Western Cape as well as the Northwest. But the Northwest, for different reasons, is because of mining there, so households are improving, they are growing.
There's no doubt that the migration of people to more attractive cities or provinces is primarily about seeking out economic opportunity. But indirectly connected to that is also the hunger to study at the country's great universities and other centers of learning.
Gauteng has more universities, so students are moving to Gauteng to learn, to get education here. Students are moving to the Western Cape to access universities. Also to KwaZulu-Natal, but not as much as the two provinces, Western Cape and Gauteng.
But with urbanisation intensifying, this has resulted in the unemployed and working poor having to build and live in informal structures. These areas often struggle to get any basic services from municipalities. Municipalities' ability to generally serve local citizens comes under increasing pressure as more people move into local neighbourhoods. Director at the Centre for Learning on Evaluation and Results, Candice Morkel, says having a census is critical to gauging where the country is at in terms of its socio-economic needs, including understanding the extent of issues like urbanisation and how best to deal with it.
Never before has it been so important for us to have evidence for policy making and decision making, and even at a very local level, at your ward, for example, it's important for us to understand what are the local conditions, what has changed. For example, with COVID, the pandemic, of course, inequalities have increased dramatically. What has that done to the local conditions?
Urbanisation has seen the public schooling system placed under pressure, especially for provinces with net inward migration flows like Gauteng. Census data should go a long way in assisting provincial and local governments understand their terrain and how to cater for it.
If you look at the Stats South Africa figures, Gauteng is the population which has the fewest people aged between the ages of under 15. So lots of people move to Gauteng, leave the children behind with the family in the rural area, and then when they're established, when circumstances change, then they bring the children. So this means that our education system and the planners at every level, nationally, provincially, at district level, need to be keeping in touch with housing developments, informal developments. And to do that when building a school is a planning process that takes many years.
The Census 2022 should help provide policymakers with the necessary tools to understand how the country has changed over the last 10 years in terms of population growth and their concentrations, therefore aiding them to better deliver services to the public. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News.